What's up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. About 5 months ago, I had somebody ask me to do a video on real estate investing, and I kind of put it off for a while just because I knew how kind of deep it could get. And then I've said, you know what, let me just go ahead and do this because I think it is some information that people that either own houses now, haven't bought one, looking at buying just their first house, or people that are investing might find, informative. So, after about 20 takes in this, I realized that I probably need to break this video down a little bit more and possibly get a little bit more specific than what some of my earlier takes were. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. This first video is just going to kind of talk about my background and what I do for a living and how I got into investing. And then the later videos are going to be kind of more like, buying your first house, since buying your first house is an investment, and things to kind of look out for when you do that, and then subsequent things down the road, loan programs and things like that. Anyway, as far as my background goes, I've been a mortgage banker since 2002, and prior to that I worked at a bank called KeyBank. And basically my job at that point was to assist people in home equity loans, lines of credit, and things like that. So I have a pretty deep background as far as mortgages go. How I got into investing, I'm going to call myself an accidental investor. 1996, and it should have been earlier, which we'll get into later, I bought my first house. So at that time I was about 28 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood. I probably should have bought 4 years earlier to that, but we're going to get into some of the myths and why people don't buy houses in a later video. But I bought the house in 1996. Actually, it was a townhouse. I lived there from 96 to 2002. In 2002, I decided I didn't need the space that townhouse had. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse, and it was just more space than I needed. So my intention at the time was to sell that place and then buy this other property and then this condo and then kind of go from there. Well, when I went to sell it, I couldn't get what I wanted for it, so I decided to hold on to it and rent that out. So at that point, I became an investor. So I'm making payments on that mortgage. I have somebody paying me. Everything's fine. 2008-ish, I decided to move in with my wife, who was actually renting a place, and needed to fill up my condo, so I had somebody rent out my condo. So at this point I have 2 properties, bringing in some decent income. I'm living with my wife. So around a couple of years go by, and I'm looking at the situation, I'm looking at the rent we're paying, and I'm just like, this isn't making any sense. So luckily around that time I had a renter in my townhouse that was leaving to go buy their own place. So basically I said, we just need to move into my property, stop paying this, high rent, and then just go on. So we lived there for about 2 years. The market was still kind of going down, so I didn't want to buy yet. But because I'm in the business, I could see that the market was about to make a turn. So I talked to my wife. I said, hey, this market's about to turn. We need to jump in. So in 2012, that was kind of when the market was changing. So 2012, we went ahead and bought this house that we have now. So I moved somebody into the townhouse. So at this point, I still have the townhouse, still have the condo, and then we bought this place here. I'm either thinking about moving from here in a couple of years and either renting this place or selling it and cashing out of this one. But anyway, that's kind of my background as far as what I do for a job and how I got into investing. These videos coming up are going to be a little bit more in depth, like I said, because I really want to get into some of the roadblocks that keep people from buying homes. As a matter of fact, there's a guy that has a YouTube channel that's about to buy his first house, and his channel name, I'll put a link to his channel name in the description and in the iCard above, but his channel is Life as I Know It. And he said he went to go talk to the mortgage banker and, basically found out that buying a house was a lot easier than he thought. And had I had a little bit more direction when I was in my earlier 20s, I would have done the same thing. So anyway, that's kind of what we're going to be touching on our next video, which is going to be kind of investing in your first property, roadblocks that are either mental or real, roadblocks that stop you from buying that first property, which, if you own one house, is still an investment. So we'll get into that, and then it will get a little bit deeper as we go along. I know a lot of the people that are on this channel aren't looking for that, so don't feel like you need to watch these videos. I'm just kind of doing this as a public service announcement. Anyway, I do appreciate you stopping by No Hippie Barbecue, cooking and investing. Just joking. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.